Hello and welcome back to the Mystic in Training podcast with me, Melissa Amos. I've been thinking a lot about the nature of healing recently. No more so because I have had a dear friend and client go through some health challenges where we've really, as a community, gathered around her to send healing and to hold her in space. And actually, she's had a miraculous turnaround in her wellness. And it's got me thinking about how the healing space is evolving and is changing, and actually where many of us as healers or wannabe healers or space holders have maybe got it wrong or been led down the wrong path. So this podcast is for you if you've ever felt like there's something in you that needs fixing, only to discover that you actually weren't broken at all. If you've ever had challenges that seem to just keep showing up, and what that's actually doing and what that's inviting you for. And maybe you're beginning to sense that every experience that we have, even the really hard ones, are actually an invitation to come back to yourself. If that's you, then this episode is for you. So let's get straight in. I know for me, when I first started in the healing space, my introduction really was through Reiki and through my own challenges with a stiff back and holding stress in certain ways. And I always considered that healing comes when something is wrong. That you go to a healer or a therapist or a teacher and they come in and their job is to come and fix it. And certainly when I started on my Reiki journey, that seemed to be the paradigm that was mainly around me. Something's wrong, we need to fix it. Go look for the problem, now send healing to it. Let's get rid of it. I mean, it's even when you listen to a lot of spiritual teachers and they're speaking about the ego, for example. And some of my favorite spiritual teachers and authors speak about killing the ego. And it's coming from this place that it's a problem that needs fixing, that there's something wrong, that there's something fundamentally wrong. And actually, even when we think about religion, that's the story we're fed, right? The original sin. But through my discovery, especially through my work in the Akashic Records, particularly my work as a spiritual psychotherapist, I've realized that we've been pulled down the wrong path in many ways. And I think this is why so many people get stuck in healing loops, in trying to find what's wrong, in shadow work, in always going on and things never ever feeling like they're changing, or they heal one thing and then it's on to the next. Now, the new model and the way that I'm seeing this whole space moving, and certainly the way that I'm working, the way that I'm teaching my clients, is actually nothing's wrong. There's nothing wrong. And that, yes, we have challenges, and yes, we have issues, and yes, our body sometimes acts in ways that we don't want to. And yes, there are things that we want to change. But what if every challenge that we have is actually an invitation to come closer to who it is that we really are? What if it is that every challenge is perfectly placed as this, hey, come look at this? What if every illness or pain in the body is simply a cry out for attention that's saying, hey, I need your focus. There's something in me that wants to come into awareness. And when it comes into awareness, then things begin to change. What if every life challenge that we face, now this isn't, oh, everything happens for a reason, but what if, as it's happening, rather than going into, oh, the universe hates me, oh, why does this stuff keep happening to me? What if it is, well, if this challenge had a lesson, what is it that I'm learning? What is it that I'm growing? Because when we come at this from this philosophy, I think it really changes how we treat ourselves and how we treat our clients if we're working as healers. that actually what we're now doing is we're holding ourselves and we're holding our clients in full strength, in full power, in full wellness, in full vitality, in full aliveness, in knowing that we are perfect souls, that we are that, if you like, that light bulb that's shining really brightly, but actually what we are experiencing are some overlays of that light bulb. And that actually all we need to do is to bring awareness into that and bring attention into that, and to let the light shine upon them and learn the stories that are within that, or learn the lessons that are within that, or even just become aware that they're there and that these are part of our conditions, or these are parts of our programming, or these are parts of our ancestral lines. And that it's not that we have to get rid of them or fix them, but we spend our time with them to glean from them what it is that they are trying to teach us. When we're aware of this, we have a couple of choices. That when something goes wrong, when something is hard, when something doesn't go the way that we are, that we wanted or that we envisioned, we've got these choices. We either return back into conditioning, so we go back into our old stories, we go back into fear, we go and search for safety, which is fair enough, right? This is the bottom rung of the hierarchy of needs, that are my safety needs met? So we're naturally going to go and look for them. And as we awaken and as we come into our ascension, then what if we're taking this of, well, if this was a challenge that wanted to be resolved, what's it teaching me? And how are we moving through this challenge so that ultimately we expand? This friend of mine who's in hospital at the moment, this is exactly this. And this isn't about bypassing. This isn't about like being delulu and going, oh, nothing's wrong, la, la, la. But it's understanding that if this was brought for a reason, maybe this is the story that she's going to be sharing on stages one day. Maybe this is the story that has broken her out of the situation or the rut that she found herself in. Maybe this is the situation that she turns around one day and says, this is where the miracle happened. This is where life changed for me. And so that becomes the story. That becomes the next part of the evolution. That becomes the thing that she now knows what is possible as a human. And she is a healer herself. And how powerful will that be when she's working with other people? And she realizes and she knows and she holds deep in her core this knowing that miracles happen and it's possible. And I'm not here to go through all of her life lessons, but I'm seeing as I'm communicating with her and she's sharing with me what she's going through, I can see how she's strengthening her view of the world and her body and her mind and her soul and her spirit. For me, this is what it means to be on the awakening path. This is what it means to be when I'm putting my soul first. But then it brings up this other question, because if everything is happening as it should, well, then where does it leave us as healers? What do we do when we are wanting to send prayers, or when we're wanting to send healing, or when we're wanting to come and fix the problem? Because I think if you're listening to this, you're probably a compassionate being. You're probably somebody who, doesn't want to see suffering in the world. And for many of us, and this was certainly the journey I went through, was, well, you've got a problem, I want to fix you. I remember walking once a few weeks after I'd learned Reiki, and I saw somebody in the park who had a broken leg, and my hand started buzzing. And I said to my now husband, oh, do you think I can go up? And it's like, of course I can't. Of course I can't just go up to them and fix them. It's not my role and it's not my business. That was my need. That was my conditioning. That was my programming. That was me going, my job now, I have these amazing powers, is to go and use it and fix everybody. And you can understand, like, from their point of view, if I suddenly came up, I wasn't even in my country, I didn't even speak the language. Could you imagine what could have happened, right? And maybe it would have been fine and whatever, but how do we as healers, and how do we as these compassionate beings use that, especially when we know things like the law of attraction work, especially when we know that focused intention can help reverse symptoms? We've seen it. And you can look at the work of Lynn McTaggart, for example, who's done some incredible work on the power of 8 and how focused intention on an issue can really help alleviate symptoms and actually bring real healing. And there's plenty of books and podcasts and courses that you can take on this. And I've been part of them and I've seen the power. But what I'm contemplating right now, and I invite you to come and contemplate with me, is at what point is it our ego that's trying to heal something? And at what point is it our soul that's trying to heal something? Because I think that is the difference. I think that's the part that really makes the differentiation between at what point am I coming from. So let's take, for example, a Reiki healer who is wanting to send Reiki to somebody who has a broken leg. But the old paradigm is she's got a broken leg. Now I need to fix it. Now I need to send the healing to fix it. And that's my goal, fix the leg. And you can spend your time focusing on, if that was what I was doing, I would spend my time focusing on the bone and seeing that come back together, and looking at the inflammation and watching that go down, or inviting the healing cells or the bones to regenerate and the skin to regenerate, and the red blood cells and the white blood cells to come and target that area. And I would be sending Reiki focused on pain management, for example, and softening the nervous system and all of these things, which are symptoms of what it is that's going on. And my measure of success then is, has the leg been fixed? And here's the tricky part. When the answer is no, then the conclusion is, well, the healing didn't work. If suddenly she's feeling more pain and my intention is I'm going to help lessen the pain, well, then the healing didn't work. And so it's coming from this space of, I know what's best for my client, so I am going to focus my intention on that. Are you doing any harm? No, but it's just something to be aware of. Is this for the greatest and highest good? Is this the best use for my time? And more importantly, is this my ego or is this my soul that's bringing this healing? In the new paradigm of healing, of understanding that everything is happening as it's meant to be happening, if we take that as a truth, that everything is an invitation to come back into strength and to come back into wholeness, well, now we're going to treat this leg quite differently. Now, when we're bringing this healing, it's actually bringing this unconditional love into this space. It's actually opening the way for miracles. And that's where I begin with it. I'm just going to bring pure unconditional love into this space, because that's never going to do any harm. That's going to, soften the area. That's going to increase the vibration. That's going to be doing all of these things. And then I'm allowing for miracles to happen. And so just having that, I'm open to miracles. What then happens is we're leaving up to the will of the divine, the higher self, God, the angels, spirit, whatever you subscribe to. We're leaving it to them. We're leaving it to a power higher than us to actually control the outcome, not me, because I don't know what's best. I don't know why she broke her leg. I don't know what the lesson is behind that. I don't know what benefits she has or what she was saved from. Yeah, or what didn't happen or what could have happened because of this leg being broken. I don't know. And so by bringing just this energy of I'm open to miracles, well, then it opens up this channel. And then our job is something different. Then our job is to, yes, let the energy flow. But we come into this sense of listening, of openness, of receptivity. And as we come into those qualities, well, then we start to get the answer of what's my job here. As we connect soul to soul, it's what's my job here. And maybe my job here is to just bring this awareness of I'm open to miracles and let that miracle be true. Maybe the awareness comes in is Stop seeing me as somebody who's sick and broken. Stop seeing my leg as broken. See my leg as being fully healed and whole. And it's not just my leg, it's my whole being. Just this is the focus on it. When we're focused on the fixing, we're micromanaging the universe. And I think the universe has more of a divine intelligence than that. I think that your soul has more of a divine intelligence than that. And my ego is happy enough to say that I don't know everything. And so I'm opening to the miracle. I'm stopping and listening into what is my role here? What is my space here? What can I do here? And then I'm choosing to respond from that space. I'm choosing to then say, thank you for the gift that is here, even if I don't understand what it is yet. Thank you for bringing me peace. Thank you for the invitation, for letting me grow into something more. And then we're coming into gratitude. We're coming into this acceptance. We're coming into that knowing. And then from there, the guidance might be, see the leg as healed and whole. Invite the vision of the leg knitting together, or the inflammation coming down, or the nervous system calming, or the immune system awakening, or whatever it is. I think that's been the missing piece. We stop forcing what it is that we think should happen. We stop taking on the whole responsibility of the world, of the universe, of I'm the healer here. It's all up to me. But this invitation of, there's an overlay here, there's something covering my light bulb here, which is asking for my attention. When I take it off and read it and see what's happening or feel what's happening and take that invitation into, if this were happening to me for a reason, how is it strengthening my soul? And then noticing our response and going, well, is this putting me deeper into the conditioning that I have? Is this putting me deeper into my not true self? Or is this bringing me closer to my soul? Is this inviting me back to who I truly am? Is this making my light shine brighter? Like, what is the invitation here? For me, that's the big change. Let's stop controlling everything. Let's stop seeing things as problems that need to be fixed and start to see things as invitations into becoming more of who we are. Let's start understanding that we are perfect, that the original sin is maybe a story that we've been fed, and the original love is more the truth. And how do we come back to the original love, even when life seems hard? How do we come back to this original love, even when we're in suffering? How do we come back into this, even when we feel broken? And how do we come back into the knowing that it's all growth? And this is our point. It's all growth. And sometimes with growth, there comes growing pains. And each one of those is an invitation. That's literally what pain is, right? It's a response in the brain that says, there's something going on here. You need to give me attention now. Give me attention now. Yeah. If you think about burning, yeah, you burn your hand moves, and then there's a pain because it's like, whoa, you need to move your hand, lady. Without that pain, our hand will just stay on the flame and it will just get worse. And so this is my invitation for you. What does my soul need from me right now? Can I choose my challenges as invitations? Can I bring this healing into an invitation into coming more rather than fixing what's broken? I think when we come into that, we'll see the miracles happen. So your contemplation until the next time we meet is to just ask yourself in the mornings or when you're going through these, today I choose to meet my challenges as invitations. I choose to awaken more. Everything I go through is a coming towards or a moving away. And which one am I choosing today? And that, dear mystics, concludes another episode of the Mystic in Training podcast. Remember to like, download, subscribe, review, and share with anyone who needs to hear this message. I look forward to hearing from you very soon. You can use the text me function on here or leave a comment. I make sure I read everyone. Lots of love.